Well, scientists and historians have revealed that the worst year to be a human being was 536 AD. That sounds strange to me. Why did they pick this year? Let's find out. The article says it's easy to look back on the past through rose-tinted glasses, as the saying goes, but new research suggests that the mid-6th century was definitely a time we want to forget in human history. A team of historians and scientists has identified AD 536 as the beginning of a terrible sequence of events for humankind. A massive volcanic eruption spewed a huge cloud of ash that shrouded the northern hemisphere in darkness and caused a drop in temperatures that led to a crop failure and major starvation. Then the misery was compounded in AD 542, which is only, 6 years later, as cold and hungry populations in the Eastern Roman Empire were struck by the bubonic plague. Yeah, bubonic plague, that's not a good thing. I hate to have the bubonic plague. That's a bad weekend right there. Now, in collaboration with glaciologists at the Climate Change Institute of the University of Maine, they've identified the source of the cloud. What cloud? They analyzed ice samples. Okay. Researchers were able to identify atmospheric pollutants deposited over these past 2,000 years, according to the study. Substances found in the ice provide evidence that there was a major eruption that took place that scattered ash all over the northern hemisphere. The eruption and so the combination of this eruption, which blocked out the sun, apparently, and the 542 plague outbreak caused economic stagnation in Europe, which lasted more than 30 years until 575, when there were early signs of recovery. This recovery is evidenced by a spike in airborne lead particles that show up in ice samples. Blah, 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 blah. There is evidence of total economic transformation between 640 and 660. We might think that we have a lot to complain about in 2018, but at least we're not fighting off the plague as we shiver under a cloud of volcanic ash that blocks out the sun. Okay. What about the Black Plague? When was that? Is that the same as the bubonic plague, or is that different? The Black Plague? I'm looking up the Black Plague. Let's find out what year that was. I'm going to say that was a Black Plague. 1347. It started... When did it start? When did it end? How long did the Black Plague? Ooh, and it faded away in the early 1350s. So it lasted, 5 to 10 years-ish. I'm going to say that might have been the worst time. The Black Plague. Awful. I don't know. Is this the worst year? I mean, there's got to be worse years than this. We don't really know what happened in our earliest history. Maybe that was the worst, I mean, if you go back to 10,000 BC, they're looking at ice cores that show the sun, like the changes in temperature. These ice cores are showing that the fluctuation in temperatures at the breakup of the last ice age were out of control. There's a professor called Dr. Schock from Boston University who he wrote a book about the geological era that's called, there's a time it was called the Younger Dryas, and you want to talk about crazy temperature fluctuations, crazy volcanic activity, crazy seismic activity, highly active sun with the sun was discharging, they believe, sending these these pockets of extremely hot air that were striking the earth and affecting everything. People had to, they actually theorized that during that time, because the sun was so active, the temperatures were so high that people were seeking shelter in underground caverns, and they believe that this is maybe one of the reasons why there's so many old underground cities that have been found in Europe. Major underground civilizations that they think that had to be built because these people couldn't even be above ground for hundreds of years. That is a crazy ass time right there. I don't know. So I mean, they're picking 536 AD, but I think the jury's still out on this because we just don't know enough about human history to really kind of pick a year. And yeah, this one sounds like a bad one, but 2018 is pretty bad too. I mean, Tide Pod challenges, Trump, I mean, you name it. There's some crazy shit going on. Cat videos. Cat videos. I mean, we're really, really stooping really low in civilization right now. But have you heard about the rat burgers that are being served in Honolulu? There's some pretty bad shit going on right now in civilization that rivals the bubonic plague. Hello, my goodness. Have you heard the new techno music? Oh God, it's the worst. I don't know, Black Plague, new music. I'm kind of oh, the bubonic plague. Oh, Cardi B. I don't know. I'm just messing, guys, obviously. Hey, maybe you think there's a terrible year that isn't 536. Maybe you think there's a worse year that we need to look into in history. Maybe one of you is a historian. One of you is an expert on ancient civilizations, and you have another year that you want to throw out there. Well, hit me up. Hit me up. You can call Weird AF News anytime. My doors are open 24/7, baby. Call the hotline, 646-450-2012. Tell me about your weird fantasy.